Elliott tears it up and slot ball begins. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 1 in a pre-season friendly, which means absolutely nothing, but means a lot in terms of player performances, passages of play, how players look on the ball, how they adhere to instruction, how they listen to the charge from the bench, how they listen to one another on the pitch, things like that, both for Liverpool and Arsenal. Now, it was a solid lineup, all things considered, with who's on tour and the players often, arguably, we were weaker than Arsenal. I believe Arsenal had more starters. Just to show you real quickly, we're looking at the starting 11 here. I think they had about 7 starters, if you're asking me. So Ben White, Gabriel, Zinchenko, so that's 3 in the back line. Havertz is 4. Partey is a question mark. When he's fit, they say he's a starter, but he's hardly ever fit, so he doesn't play. So you say because he missed out last year, you probably give him a miss. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Odegaard definitely is, that's 5. Martinelli 6, and Jesus 7. They're starters, and people say, well, Jesus doesn't, like, he's injured all the time, but when he's not injured, he's starting games. He's playing in the middle of that pitch. He is the good. He is their striker when maybe he's not really a striker, because Saka plays on the right where Reece Nelson started. Obviously, he's not, and Martinelli would start if not for his injury and dip of form last season, where Trossard come in, but even he came in the second half. So they got 7 first team starters, shall we say, whereas Liverpool, we had less. I believe we had 5 starters based on last season's circumstances. Kwanzaa played a lot of games, so he's a starter for me. Kelleher isn't, because when Alisson is fit, he always plays. Kelleher plays cup games and things like that, or when there's an injury to Alisson or whatever needs to happen. So Kwanzaa, not Vandenberg, not Tsimikas, even though he features. Robertson is the starter. Tsimikas is the backup player. Bradley is not the starter. He's the backup player to Trent. So we've only got 1 there. Elliott, I would argue, is 2. Szoboszlai is 3. Jones is, again, like Partey. Does he start? Does he not start? Does he start every game? That's a question mark. Carvalho doesn't start. Jota starts most of the time when fit and available. Sometimes he'll come on off the bench, but it's a switch between Jota and Nunez. So I'd say he's a starter. And Salah is a starter. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In my opinion, 5 first team bona fide starters for Liverpool, as opposed to 7 bona fide starters for Arsenal. And that first half was a decent half as well. It was decent. It was good. It was a little bit frantic. It was fast paced. You had moments of madness all over the shop. And I have to say, it was one of those games where I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know what? This is actually a little bit helter-skelter, because it was almost like attack. We go forward, they defend, they go forward, we defend. We looked a little bit shaky in the defensive line for, in my opinion, in the first 10, 15 minutes, but then we grew into the game. Kelleher played some risky passes, but that's probably part of his game as well. Defensively, we probably did have some moments where maybe we weren't looking the best, and some tackles from Sepp and Kwanzaa stopped some possible certain goals from happening. And of course, Jesus had the chance from Kelleher, where Kelleher tried to kick it out, and Jesus sort of like charged him down and knocked it off his foot, but it went out wide. And Kwanzaa was a standard in the defense for us, for Liverpool at least. There was some nice passing throughout the team, more 1-2 touch movement, touch and go, a ball out from the top, knock down, 1 touch, 2 touch, pass it through, Salah runs on goal, which is how we scored the first goal. And that was Salah running across from the right with the ball from Elliott coming straight through. Kelleher goes over the top, headed down by Jota. Elliott over straight into space for Salah. Salah runs through. It was a great goal. I think I've got it here, so I'm not sure in terms of the drop the audio just in case. So we're looking at it here. So 1 out there. Kwanzaa. And Szoboszlai. Kwanzaa goes to Kelleher. Goes long over the top. Header by Jota. Elliott first time. There goes Salah running through. And then that was the goal. So you'll notice there that, Zinchenko starts in front of him as well. And Salah just puts on the afterburners, but then they get drawn in, and it's a lovely ball. It's clearly onside as well. He's in his own half. I think if that was a Premier League game, you'd argue he's in his own half, but he's way onside, and he's gone through and finishes a cross goal. Gabriel can't do anything, because if he gets him, foul, possibly red card for stopping a one-on-one chance, and then finishes into the back end there, as Mo Salah does. So that was a lovely goal. It was a lovely goal, and The pass from Elliott was fantastic. Zinchenko getting buried for his performances yet again on the troops was absolutely cussing him out. He was not happy. I know Lee was not happy. There was a lot of Arsenal fans out there that were absolutely fuming with Zinchenko's performances. And of course, Jota smacked the post as well. Again, more little passing. Jota getting in one-on-one, hitting the post, but good to see him getting to those positions. Elliott with the filthy ball over the top for Carvalho for the second goal. That was fantastic. And we kept finding space down the wings. The final balls probably weren't it. And yeah, the final decisions maybe still need a little bit of work. Havertz scored the goal for Arsenal. Getting lucky, it has to be said. Apparently Zinchenko had given the ball to Odegaard. Odegaard sent Tsimikas back to Athens for Euros before playing it to Kai, who sort of like taps it in and it scrambles over the goal and it makes it 2-1 before the half, and then that's how the game finished. Second half isn't really worth discussing for me. It was more Arsenal in possession and pressure, but nothing really amounted from it. It was more for the youngsters to get a run in, and some of our first teamers still played. I think Odegaard played a whole 90 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Did I read that correctly? Odegaard, yeah, played a whole 90. Why does Odegaard need to play a whole 90 minutes? That was mad. Absolute madness. Everyone else got subbed, except for Kivior and Hein. So is that an indication from Arteta? Why would you keep playing Kivior and Odegaard in preseason friendlies? I mean, we subbed all our players except for Kelleher in goal. There was no need to sub him. So we subbed everybody, gave him a rest. Some people came off at halftime, some later on in the game. It is what it is. But let's go back to this stats thingy, because this first half is what I want to focus on. Now, I was listening to Never a Foul earlier on here, and Hooks, and I think it was one of the other fellas, forgive me, I missed their names, they were saying how Arsenal were the better team in the first half and in the second half, and I'm thinking, ain't no way that was a thing. Now, people say don't use stats because stats don't tell you a whole picture, but in this instance here, it backs up everything that we saw. Liverpool created chances. Liverpool scored goals. Liverpool hit the post. Liverpool played one-touch passing, played balls over the top, played short passes, played long passes, defended with 5 across the back line, which I saw at times, which is a little bit interesting, playing deep blocks when defending and then springing counterattacks. It was decent. It was nice to see something different from Slot as opposed to Liverpool, who just kept on playing with high lines and allowing a lot of space for the opposition. And there were moments in that first half where Arsenal did get a little bit of space, but it didn't eventuate to anything because Kwanzaa was there, like a standout performer for me in defence, and just maybe decisions weren't there for him in the final third. But they're probably going to have to get a little bit better than that, because if they only get 1 or 2 chances in games, they'll need to learn how to be clinical and put their chances away. That's what it's going to come down to in some instances, getting that one chance and making it count. And look, you can see it for yourself. 8 shots to 6, 3 on target to 1, 3 big chances for us as opposed to Arsenal's 1. We missed 1 big chance. Maybe that was the Jota where he hit the post, perhaps. And only the 1 big chance missed for Arsenal, which may have been the Kwanzaa tackle. That was a good tackle, to be fair. But look, 202 passes to 176. I'm not going to look too much into this. I'm not sitting here fist pumping and saying, yes, go Liverpool, we're going all the way. But nice to see that there's some domination from this team that people said was going to be, not the same. Liverpool's going to be finished. And I know it's pre-season and we could lose our first couple of games, could have a few shaky performances. But from what I'm seeing in the here and now, it looks good. I'm not going to be the person to be like, we're going to go all the way. Arne Slot is going to take us through. Slot ball is here and all that sort of stuff. It's nice to see some nice football. It's nice to see one-touch passing. It's nice to see our players doing things that actually makes us Liverpool fans think, okay, maybe there's something here. This is not the Liverpool scene. Pass left, pass right, pass left, go backwards, go midfield, go back across, go back to the goalkeeper, go back to right. I got sick and tired of that, trying to find an opening, make shit happen, one-touch passing, bang, draw it out, one-touch, bang, 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 over the top. It's not new. We've also seen Route 1 football, but it's nice to see it being implemented in a different way. Again, that might all change in a couple of weeks' time, but we shall see what happens. But that was pretty much the game thoughts from me. Again, I don't do the tactics thing. My analysis, as some people like to say, it is not up to scratch and not all that. So if I got something wrong, you think, then that's my own ignorance. I'll put my hand up and say that's me not understanding. I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't get it. But I like to talk about what I've seen. Now, Slot is looking happy. but still wanting more, which is a good sign. Anyone's top performances and everyone to be at their best. I'm interested to see what happens with the forward line in the midfield once everyone is back. I mean, who plays on the left wing? Is it going to be Diaz or is it going to be Nunez? Who plays as a striker? Is it going to be Jota or Darwin? Because don't forget, we also got Gakpo to come back from the Euros. He plays on the left wing. Is he going to be the left winger? If he takes his form from the Euros and starts very well for Liverpool in the first few rounds, you might see him maybe take that left forward line spot as his own. We shall see what happens. We don't know yet. But then it's also the case of who plays in the midfield. McAllister with Szoboszlai, with Endo. Is it going to be with Elliott? Because we'll get to Elliott in a second. He was mad. He had a great game. Well, Elliott obviously was our best player, 2 assists, and had a few shots himself and created a few chances. So he was quality for his appearance and his performance in this game. But it's interesting to see what happens there because obviously we haven't had the signings. We haven't signed anybody yet. The rumors have it that Arne Slot is going to start looking at getting players in August, so which is why Richard Hughes is doing his thing, which is why Michael Edwards, as the CEO, whatever he is now, I still forget what his role is. What's their role? But they still need to tie down Alisson, Trent, Mo, Virgil. Can't afford to have them leave for $0 come the end of this next season or this upcoming season because that'll be absolute madness. Some will say, who cares? They've served us well, but you've got something good there. Why would you give it away for free just because they've done something good for you? If that was the case, I'd be giving away computers I don't need for free. But no, it served me well, but it still has a purpose. I want some money for it. It's not going to be as much as what I paid for it when I bought it brand new, but it's still functioning. It's still good. So there is still some value in it. Now, Elliott. Harvey Elliott, 21 years old, absolute boss. The more he plays like this, the more consistent he gets with his performances. I would like to see him actually be a bona fide starter in this team. Obviously, he had his ankle injury. It was last year or the year before, and it was a bit of a shakiness, but he come back, got us some late winners against Palace, ended up getting us some lovely performances towards the end of the season. And it's nice to see Elliott score goals, but it's even better to see him create goals because that's one thing we've lacked, a creator. Szoboszlai was meant to be that player, haven't really seen it. McAllister was meant to be the number 10, ended up playing as a number 6 for half a season until we got Endo in January, whatever it was, or maybe got him before the start of the season. I don't even know. A lot's happened in the last year. But there was a question mark. There was a question mark. Who is going to be the number 6? That is still a question. That's still a question now because whilst the midfield is okay, that number 6 is a massive question mark. But again, remember, the players we had today, Elliott, Szoboszlai and Jones in that midfield, we were playing against Odegaard, Gabriel, White, Jesus, Partey, and a couple of others. So I'm looking forward to this continuous growth for Harvey Elliott and this squad if everything seems to go well. Now, let's bump my microphone. Just in transfer news as well. One player that wasn't used. I don't even know if I was included in this in the squad here. I'm just trying to look at the bench here. Joe Gomez doesn't look like he was anyway. Not on, stayed back. So I think it was with England at the Euros, but not used if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember for sure. There was the question mark of the swap deal having Gomez and 45 mil for Anthony Gordon from Newcastle to sign him over. Now, that doesn't look like it's happening anymore. But knowing the facts thereafter, would Gomez want to be kept and being a utility man when he has effectively tried to have been used as a bargaining chip for us to buy Anthony Gordon? That's a question mark. He's 27 years old or thereabouts. Does he want to be a utility man or does he want to be a starter? Because he definitely could be a starter. Could he be a starter for us? Yes, but I'm not sure if we want to play him at a left-back role where he's not natural, but he plays well, or play him in a centre-back role. But then you've got the likes of Kwanzaa and Kanate as well in there. So there's question marks to be had in that sense there. Also, the DM position is left asking, is Endo going to be the player to take that role himself? By Cetic, is he even ready yet? He was out for a long while last season. I mean, do we need to sign a technical DM that can defend, shield the defensive line and stop counterattacks and be the destroyer, as people like to say, in the middle of the pitch, but also have the technical ability to receive a pass, turn, play forward, keep the momentum going, keep the rhythm going? I mean, McAllister played there, but is that his best position? Are we going to look to bring somebody else in? We'll see what happens. But those are my 2 cents at least. decent game against Arsenal, not taking too much away from that, other than we actually played some nice football and we scored a couple of goals from some nice passages of play. Creative individual brilliance from Harvey Elliott for the second goal. The first goal was a nice little team effort, and if that's what we can expect to happen, then long may it continue. But we'll see what happens. We've got United next in a couple of days' time in the next friendly, and we shall see how we fare in that one. They're missing some more players. I think Anthony and was it Rashford went off injured at some point, so see what happens with them. Yoro's out for at least 3 months. Hoyland is out for 6 weeks, so they're going to have to start the season already with 2 men down, possibly even more, and they'll need to sign Elliott if that's still happening, Ugarte if that's going to be a loan deal. We'll see what happens there, but that's pretty much it for me. Yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Liverpool, Arsenal, whatever, and yeah, let's just see where Arne Slot takes us.